the Queen of Wands is hiding disharmony. And this has already been off to a strange synchronistic start. I got a random urge yesterday to look up the Zodiac correspondence to the King of Wands. I can't even remember why now. Um, and it's like the light bulb went off that the Knight, the Queen, and the King have dual zodiac associations, and the Queen of Wands is Pisces and Aries, which is about the turn of the wheel that we're in, because we had all that celestial movement with Saturn and Neptune now at 0 degrees in Aries, but we just entered Pisces season. So I'm still thinking that we're on that timeline from the last reading, that we might be wrapping something up before Aries season. And so I decided to do a tarot card for the significator instead of an oracle card this time. And I haven't done that since the last round of Hero's Journey readings, I don't think. And this card fell out, this Harmony card, Sun in Libra, and it came out in reverse. Um, I don't think I have ever caught a card in another deck. I'm fairly meticulous, and so that was pretty surprising to find something out of place like that. So something a long time in the making might be coming to an end, starting, either way. Because the last time I used this deck was actually the Pisces reading. So let's start getting some cards out here and just see if we can root into what is this disharmony about. Truth. Uh-oh. Somebody doesn't want a truth to come to the surface. Something's hidden. It's pretty cards. This is one of the Moonology decks. And so many of these cards, they give me like Tatooine vibes because I have the multiple moons on it. It's like that moon rising. Something hidden coming to the surface. But what? It's a Caticorn Tarot. Because this is my most, like, Piscean combination that I can think of. The Caticorn Tarot and the Rumi Oracle. Doesn't get much more Pisces than that. Tell me more about this truth. This hidden truth. Where'd that go? Strength in reverse. Leo. But it's kind of reminding me, like, because, you know, house cats are basically made out of audacity and knives, right? You know, they will take on bears and lions and tigers, oh my. But in reverse, this truth, is it taking the wind out of somebody's sails? Like the Queen of Wands? Whoever she represents? And that is just a vibe. It's not necessarily a gender. Because we've got both a yin and a yang aspect here. As Libra is more of a yang energy. And that harmony, that's like holding the tension between opposites. Got 10 of Cups, Death, and 9 of Swords. And this Death card kind of has a yin-yang thing going on too. Traversing 2 worlds. Bringing ultimate happiness to a nightmarish end. That's what this truth coming out does. The Queen of Wands. Where it's almost like they're showing, like the mask, the persona is of the 10 of Cups. But it's like their kingdom's a nightmare in the background. So moon rising, just trying to formulate and make sense of this. But it's like revealing this truth. I feel like quickly took the wind out of the sails of the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is like the epitome of eat, drink, and be merry. You know, that balance of Aries and Pisces, fire and water. And a very doing things her own way. Because that combination of Aries and Pisces always makes me think of Aries and Aphrodite in that myth. And when they were caught in the marriage bed in the golden net. But the version that I like the most is Aphrodite was, when they got caught, she was basically like, go ahead and watch. Like, she's gonna do what she wants to do because she was put in a position against her will. Like, she was arranged marriage by Zeus to knock her down a peg. So that truth getting revealed, it's like the shattering of the proverbial marriage bed, like whatever it is. Could just be something tightly held. I don't know, like authority or an idea of happiness. And then once this truth comes out, it's like, oh wait, Aphrodite, yeah, maybe that was, you know, an unsavory method for her to, you know, step out on her marriage. But she wasn't in that marriage voluntarily. Like, she was being held against her will. And then the illusion comes crashing down, this illusion of harmony. So what is this truth about? Tell me more of the truth. And on the dice roll I got 7th house, Scorpio, and South Node. Karmic contracts in relationships. And Scorpio has those underworld vibes. I'm not gonna flip one over. right onto the floor. Okay. Taking the one that went face up. Patience. Okay, yeah. And at first glance, those cacti kind of look like middle fingers. So patience. The truth is about patience? What? Moon cycles. What about patience? Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is the preparation for the journey. And then the Three of Wands is like the departure. You know, the ship is coming into port to take you out. But in reverse, are you stuck? Being unable to plan anything until this truth is revealed? And they've got the little flames on the tufts of the ear, like a little caracol. But that is just giving me frustration from that. Like, you're ready to go, but there's something. Why can't you leave? Oh, and Eight of Cups in reverse. You can't leave because you can't leave? What? There's some sort of block? Nine of Pentacles. Don't have the resources to leave? I think we talked about that in the last reading. That sometimes people get stuck in situations and people can be really insensitive to that. Like, why don't you just leave? Well, if you look at the chains around my ankles, that's a bit of an impediment to my forward motion. But, I mean, if you are trying to move, if you're caught in that conundrum of, you do oftentimes, like, unless it just doesn't work out that way, but if you can, it's nice to have a little bit of a financial cushion if you're changing jobs or something like that, to while the pay cycles adjust, you know, if they're on like a different rhythm, you know. There's so many of us that it's almost like you get priced in to employment, you know, like, because how are you supposed to shop around for different employers and whatnot when you have to essentially go through the whole interview process and actually get an offer and start before you even figure out how much your insurance is going to cost? That's not brought up in the interview. Like, that's not something that, I don't know. Like, how do you fully assess your new options when there's these like social mores and whatnot that you have to dance around, of people that get offended, I guess, about like, how dare you be concerned about money when it comes to a job? Like, this is an employment arrangement. But there's all sorts of like little things, like if you're working a job where you have really cost-effective health insurance, something like that, or cost-effective all things considered. an increase in salary might just get eaten up in an increase in cost of things that you don't know how much they're going to cost until you're like in it. Like free market, like free for who? Not us, not the people it relies on. But there's something like that, like a truth has to be revealed before you can move forward, before you can get the necessary resources to move forward. What another one? Because I'm not quite on that yet. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. That's a good thing. So it seems like it's going to turn around, but there's like a, I don't know, something hidden between these 2 cards that show lack of movement and then much improvement in material. Because, you know, what if you're having car problems or something, and a consideration for moving would be like you might have to tow your vehicle. That's an additional cost. You know, like maybe you don't have the money to fix it or something. So what's hidden? I feel like we're in the pocket where hidden should be revealed, because we're in the eclipse cycle. The next one's on the 3rd. We just had the one on the 17th. Avoid drama, moon madness, but it's in reverse. Don't avoid drama? Or this is the truth. What was hidden? Moon madness, avoid drama. Somebody isn't avoiding drama? This disharmony. I mean, it's a gateway. It kind of looks like the end of the Truman Show. When he's walking up the stairs, he walks out of the dome or whatever. So what's hidden is that somebody has not been avoiding drama. What does that mean in this context? Queen of Cups. So the other half, the Pisces. And what is the other half? This is my little tarot book. Been very helpful over the years. Let's see. Queen of Cups. Gemini and Cancer. So air and water. Water of the suit of water. Second sight. The Queen of Cups is who saw through this. Who saw through the disharmony of the not avoiding drama. You know, it's like, it's giving me when somebody would like go around and kind of set the stage for like the reactive abuse sort of stuff. Like, I just want what's best for this person, so like, let's not stress them out with this opportunity. Something like that. Meanwhile, you needed those. Like, you needed the pentacles to leave. Like, they're literally restricting your movement because they're restricting your choices because they're withholding information. Something like that. And that is absolutely not avoiding drama. It's not protecting you, like however they want to reframe it to make themselves look good. No. Absolutely not. The Star. It's a little rainbow cat. Three of Wands. The journey. Yeah, the journey that's not starting. And the Knight of Pentacles. Very slow movement. So there's some sort of greater calling, something or other, that the Queen of Cups, like Queen of Cups feels like she's just trying to live her life. And again, gender is irrelevant. This could be two women, two they thems, two men. Mix and match as it applies. Queen of Cups, though, is just trying to live her life, pursue this movement, you know, down this path, whatever that path may be. And it's like someone has taken it upon themselves to, like, oh, Queen of Cups doesn't know what's good for them. Queen of Cups, like, this is a phase. They don't know what they want, which is so infantilizing. And what's concerning, even more so than the individual who would take it upon themselves to do that, it's the people who would listen to it, be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, yeah, no, yeah, you know better than a grown adult for themselves. No, you do not. That's that dangerous lack of critical thinking that just seems to be growing at a rapid pace, seemingly thanks to the advent of AI. But the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. Like, there are vines growing on this horse. Like, been standing still so long. There's foliage now. And it looks like they're on a carousel. So even, like, the carousel can move the ground beneath the knight's feet, but there's still foliage growing. Like, that's how long movement has been impeded. And to the Star, that is like the most healing energy. Like, it comes right after the Tower card. So after major destruction, major upheaval, you know, these are the things that, like, the resources that might help you recover after some sort of major life event. Like, maybe it's an illness or some sort of, like, you know, car repairs, you know, something like that. Not that I think that would be the pursuit to the Star, but I think you get where I'm going. But maybe, I don't know. I don't even know why they would be doing this. Why? Why are they doing this? That's not clear. I mean, there's this hidden truth that they don't want out. is a hidden truth. It's like they're just out for you. They're just trying to make your life a living hell, like keep you from that path. Because it will hurt you, because they're cruel. But there was something that came up in the last reading that didn't make sense. About like financial gain from you staying down or something, or you staying in place. What's the motivation here? What's the why? Strength. And it came out sideways. Yang Moon. Another strength card. They're trying to restore their strength. Again, why? It's like there's a wall. Not even a wall, just a void. Like if you were to talk to somebody and there's just nothing behind the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like something's missing. It's like I can't get to it, not because there's a block, it's because it's not there. It's like I'm searching for humanity. And I mean, if someone's so cruel as to, like, interfere with you accessing your, whatever your star is, maybe they are missing some humanity. Support and enchanted. Moon circles and moonlight. It's because the illusion fell. Keeping you in place. Hang on, formulating. Sorry. Hopefully. It was like an enchantment that's been broken. That was this truth that we didn't want to come out. But there's something about you staying in place that's like critical to this enchantment, to this illusion. Like, this could be someone doing glamour magic. And that can take multiple forms. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone is actually doing glamour magic. This could just be like manipulation, the grooming. The candle seems to be agreeing with that part. But like a quote I've shared before, something like, abusive people don't just groom the victim, they groom everybody involved in the situation. It's that, like, creating that perception of, I'm protecting them, I'm thinking of their well-being, by interfering with their choices, which doesn't make sense if you think about it for half a second. If they're over 18, you can not like their choices all you want. That's it. Like, that's where your influence stops. You just not like it. That's your problem. But tell me more. But there's so much entitlement in that. And what was that? I felt that for like just a second. I almost got there to that conclusion. But the entitlement of controlling another adult's decision, especially if this is like someone who has no business in the decision, you know, like a frenemy or something, or someone who, like, there wasn't a mutual interest, like they were interested in you, you weren't interested in them, and like how dare you have autonomy and reject them, even if it wasn't like anything rude, you know, just like a, oh, not interested, you know, thank you, and then like, how dare you not be interested in me, the greatest person in the universe. Now I'm gonna control all your choices and make your life a living hell. Entitlement is really at the root of abusive behavior. Sorry. Nose is running. But we've got Queen of Pentacles and King of Wands in reverse. So we're almost up to a full Empress. We've got 3 queens on the table. But these are people, I think, that are no longer disillusioned, or no longer illusioned, so now they're disillusioned. But the King of Wands is what sparked this whole synchronistic start to the reading. And Queen of Pentacles, I mean, in charge of the coin of the kingdom. So this person is not as high on the totem pole as the impression given out. So back to glamour magic. Because glamour magic, at least the way I view it, it's about altering the perception that you're putting out. You know, like you can try as best you can to influence another person's free will if that's what people do, but like that requires manipulation, you know, of the narrative, of the group, of something like that. But that altering the perception that's being presented, it's like the unassuming nice guy that you would never think would, I don't know, stalk somebody's movements, something like that. Alter somebody's mail, mess with their mail, which, if you're gonna commit a crime, don't do things under the jurisdiction of the, like, what's the postmaster have, like a 98% conviction rate, something insane like that. But so these are people that can't be enchanted anymore. It's like that persona that was being projected out isn't working anymore. Ace of Cups. I like that Ace of Cups card. It's very fruitful. But this is like, I'm getting like the clouds are clearing from the kingdom. You know, there's all these fish and there's frogs and lily pads and a lotus. Everybody can see colors again because they're not being bogged down by just got a thought. Trying to grab onto it. But it's almost like someone that would rush or like almost like a sleight of hand, you know, like, oh, let me grab that paperwork for you and then drop one piece of it out, you know, like that has critical information on it. Something, it's like they're doing something to affect what information gets in the hands of what people. But could you imagine trying to keep up with, like, okay, so I told person A lie C, but I told person B lie A. But wait, what about person C? Like, which one did I tell them lie for? You know, like this web of lies, it can't survive. And maybe people can see you or someone involved in this situation trying to leave, or at least unhappy, and they're asking questions like, okay, why don't you just leave? And it's like, I need the ability to leave. And it's like this mystery as to, you know, why can't I leave? Why isn't anything working? You know, I go down to start my car and the battery's dead, and I fix my battery and somebody slashed the tires, and, you know, something like that. Like, it just, there's always an impediment to the future progress, and maybe it's been going on so long. People are looking at Queen of Cups like an ad hominem route. Like, oh, well, obviously this is a them problem. If they can't produce results, it must be something they're doing or not doing. Like, maybe every time I turn around from planting a seed, someone salts the soil, but nobody can see it happening. And so it's just like this mystery as to why nothing is happening. And then people are kind of lazy when it comes to, again, the critical thinking of, what if it's not them? Like, if they're trying to leave and nothing's happening, why? Why is that, like, why is that the outcome? And then truth starts to come to the surface of, oh, this person has been actively keeping the Queen of Cups in place because they were like this linchpin to this illusion or something. I don't know. It's messy energy. But it seems like once the illusion is broken, then it's like water starts flowing again. Life returns to the earth. So what's the block? Why isn't this moving forward? Because it seems like we know this truth needs to come out. Queen of Wands doesn't want it to come out, but Queen of Cups is like trapped until it does. So what's keeping this gate locked? Nope. Is it divine timing? Like the shifting over into Aries season? Why isn't this block clearing? Process your feelings. Howl at the moon in reverse. What? The block isn't clearing because feelings aren't being processed? bring me back to the glamour magic. It's like when people get court ordered to do stuff and then just go through the motions, you know? Like they're not actually remorseful. Is this like a practitioner or something? Because I'm kind of getting like graveyard magic from these skulls. Like it's a combo of glamour and graveyard. Like to bring an end to that truth that needs to come out. Or trying to set the stage for when the truth does come out, the Queen of Cups, like their reputation is in ruin, so it doesn't matter if it comes out or not. But I think that's failed. Ace of Wands, yeah. So another ace. That new beginning is on the way. And I feel like we might be at the last push and pull of something that potentially has been going on for a long time. Because, you know, that last Hero's Journey reading where I used this deck was like 4 months ago. So, doesn't necessarily have to be 4 months exactly, but it's like the wheel's been wanting to turn and it's been stuck on, I don't know, a wedge or something, and it's going to break. It's like all the plots and the ploys and whatever, everything has run out. All the moon cycles, we have been through everything. And now as we move into Aries season, like there is no more to try. We are at the end of the road. And that wheel's turning, like whether you like it or not. It's like, yes, you can stand in the way of a freight train, but one way or another, you will not be there anymore. We've got the Rumi Oracle here. Get some words of wisdom. You know, maybe something to soothe the soul. I love Rumi. So wise in such few words, oftentimes. So maybe your favorite poetry, something like that. Maybe something that helps you process emotions. Because I find that poetry is like one of the fastest ways to make me cry. Like within the first few words, I don't even need to know what it's about. I just already am ready for the waterworks. Just gonna cut this one. Sacred Union. We're talking about that tension of opposites. Because that doesn't necessarily need to be external. That could be, you know, within the self. Only the oneness of love and the lover is eternal. Surrender your heart into this union, for all else in the world is momentary. Stupefied with bliss, I become without thought. There is no grief in loss. Wait, there is no grief in that loss. I gladly surrender my intelligence in favor of this mindlessness. It is ecstasy, rapture. Messed up the grammar on that a little bit. It is ecstasy and rapture. There we go. The sweetness of the union is so sacred it overwhelms my senses. The lover and the beloved are my world. Nothing else exists except this love, this unity of divine masculine and feminine, and the fresh new universe that shall be born from their sacred conjoining. I don't like the spin that I just got on this. Is this the last ditch attempt? I feel like it is. So I'm reading this a couple different ways. This could be maybe where you're headed to some sort of sacred union. Could be with a partner, with a goal, with finally having the time to yourself to explore the self and go through that process, individuation and such. But I'm also getting the sense that it's like a last-ditch, desperate attempt, like to distract you with romance or something, or like knowing what you're aiming for, what your goal is, and dangling like a fake version of that in front of your face. Like I was talking about oops, that paper fell out, and turns out that was really important. Something like that. It's like this person who's not avoiding drama, that for some reason you staying in place is like critical to maintaining this illusion. They put whatever your favorite treat, like a cup of coffee, under a big box that's gonna slam down as soon as you walk under it, whatever. Something like that. Weird vibe. Weird vibe. I don't feel like I fully got to it, but maybe this is just the slice of the puzzle that we need to keep the wheel moving. We got 2. Thor Ragnarok, so funny. And Constantine, so a DC and a Marvel. 2 really good movies. One's a little more serious than the other. Maybe start with Constantine and then follow up with Ragnarok, a little movie marathon, something like that. That's what I did with Barbenheimer. I started with Oppenheimer and then went to the Barbie movie. And it was a pretty wicked blizzard that day that I did that. And I don't know, the gummy bear that I had before Oppenheimer, I was super into it. Really into that movie. And then, of course, just cracking up for the Barbie movie afterwards. But again, that tension of opposites, sacred union, the disharmony, the yin and the yang. Something about holding the tension as we go forward into Aries season, which is not an easy task. It takes a pretty serious toll to hold tension when you're ready to just move on to the next thing, get out of whatever situation that you're in. So one day at a time. You know, the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Take it easier on yourself. Take breaks as you're able, as you need to. Use that PTO if you've got it. At least get something on the calendar so you have something to look forward to, you know, looking down the horizon rather than just a bleak abyss that doesn't have any relief on the calendar. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.